Imagine that, in the next few seconds, something silent, yet incredibly powerful begins to move around you, as if an invisible presence were tearing away the veil that has always stood between you and the life you should be living. And as you listen to me now, perhaps you feel that slight shiver down your spine, that strange sensation in your chest, as if something is watching you, not to scare you, but to awaken you. Because there is an ancient, forgotten secret buried in the scriptures that has never been revealed to you, a secret capable of explaining why some prosper in peace, while others spend their entire lives struggling in the darkness of scarcity. Today, at this very moment, you are one step away from hearing the revelation that can alter your financial destiny. And, if you stay with me for just a few minutes, you will realize that absolutely nothing. Much of what you've experienced so far has been by chance. What is about to be revealed here is something many avoid talking about, something that provokes, that shakes, that illuminates. Take a deep breath. What comes next is not just a video. It's a direct spiritual call to your spirit, and you will understand it even before I finish this sentence. I'm here with you, breathing alongside you. And before we begin, let me ask you something simple yet powerful. Subscribe to the channel now, because here you'll always receive exciting, revealing, and deeply inspiring videos, and write in the comments which city and country you're listening from. That way I can feel closer to you in this conversation that's already touching your spirit. Today, I'm going to guide you through a biblical revelation that few people know, and that explains why some prosper in peace, while others struggle their entire lives without rest. As you listen to my voice, allow yourself to imagine that each word is light entering areas of your life that you've never told anyone about, areas where financial pain has silently accumulated over the years. There's something I want to reveal, something that will change the way you see money, faith, and purpose. Before we move on, I want to tell you something as if I were holding your hand. It's no coincidence that you're here now. There's a movement happening in your life, and you've already begun to feel it in recent days, even without understanding where it came from. Perhaps it was that strange restlessness. Perhaps that dream that seemed like a warning. Perhaps a sequence of repeated thoughts about change, new beginnings, abundance. None of this is by chance. When God wants to transform something, He first awakens you from within. And today, while you remain here with me, you will understand why you are feeling this, and why your financial life is about to enter a new cycle. I want to tell you something I've never shared like this before. There's a hidden spiritual pattern in the scriptures, a pattern that subtly appears in stories like Joseph, Abraham, David, and even the widow of Zarephath. In all these accounts, there's an invisible breakthrough that happens within the mind before it happens in real life. First, God changes the inner self. Then, He changes the outer self. But the thing is, people read these stories and think the miracles came out of nowhere. They didn't. They came when their minds aligned with the divine purpose. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you today. How to align your mind with the flow of biblical prosperity that doesn't weigh you down or hurt. I know you've experienced many cycles of hope and frustration. Maybe you started something with enthusiasm, and weeks later, everything seemed to crumble. Maybe you were faithful, hardworking, responsible, but still, the money never seemed enough. There are people who even pray for prosperity, but remain trapped in a pattern of scarcity because prayer changes the emotion, but mindset is what changes destiny. And don't blame yourself for that. No one ever taught you that there's a direct connection between what you believe and what you experience. Today, Hannah, I'm going to show you that bridge. And perhaps you're thinking now, Hannah, why would God allow me to go through so many financial struggles? The truth is profound, yet liberating. Nothing you've experienced has been wasted. All the pain, all the loss, every closed door, all of that is about to make sense. God only transforms when there is space for transformation. And sometimes, He allows our old structure to crumble so that we can receive something that wouldn't fit into the mental model we had before. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. And before I reveal the first big secret, let me open a small portal within your heart. There is inner work that needs to be done, and I want to be with you on this journey. Therefore, at the end of this first part, I want to gently invite you to discover Reprogram a Mind, a resource I prepared with love and purpose. 7 days of audios to reprogram your mind for prosperity, peace, abundance, and rest. You don't need to decide now. Just keep your heart attentive. It will call you at the right time. There's a verse that many read, but few truly see. A verse hidden behind routine, haste, superficial reading, but which contains one of the greatest spiritual keys to prosperity ever placed in the Bible. It took me years to understand what it really said, and when I finally did, it was as if a curtain had been ripped from my mind. Today, I want to open that curtain for you. It's in Deuteronomy 8:18. Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. It seems simple, but the depth of this phrase can turn your financial life upside down, in the best possible way. Pay attention to something that almost no one notices. God doesn't say, I give you riches. He says, I give you the strength to acquire them. This changes absolutely everything. This means that prosperity is not something that falls from the sky, but something that manifests when your mind aligns with the strength He has already placed within you. This verse dismantles the belief that prosperity is merely a matter of luck, excessive effort, or destiny. The strength is already there within you. But perhaps you haven't learned how to access it because you were never taught to see this text with spiritual eyes. And do you know what else this verse reveals? That the prosperity that comes from God is not accidental. It's intentional. He doesn't give you riches randomly. He gives you mental, emotional, spiritual, and creative strength to access what is already prepared for your life. Strength to think differently. Strength to get up when everything collapses. Strength to see opportunities while others see chaos. Strength to believe when everyone else disbelieves. This strength, often hidden beneath years of fear, worries, and frustrations, will begin to awaken as you walk with me on this path. There's something even more surprising here. In the original language, the word strength also means divine ability, sudden inspiration, strategic capacity. In other words, God doesn't send you ready-made wealth. He gives you inspiration to create paths to it. He breathes ideas, connections, thoughts, solutions. That's why some people, even without a logical explanation, have insights at the right moment, flip a mental switch, and change their entire lives in a few months. It's not luck, it's activation. It's Deuteronomy 8:18 silently being fulfilled within them. But there's a detail that almost no one notices. Before talking about the strength to acquire wealth, God warns people not to forget where that strength came from. Because when someone forgets, prosperity becomes a burden, becomes pride, becomes anxiety, becomes fear of losing everything. And that's why so many people who are rich on the outside are completely broken on the inside. They acquired possessions, but did not receive peace. They accumulated money, but did not receive rest. Because there is a force that builds, and another that destroys. The difference lies in who strengthens you. Now take a deep breath. Think about your life. How many times have you thought you were thriving solely through your own effort, but ended up tired, exhausted, emotionally drained? How many times did it seem like you were making progress, but deep down, your soul was diminishing? This happens when we try to carry with our own hands something that could only be sustained by the strength that comes from God. Deuteronomy 8:18 is not just a promise, it's a loving warning. It says, I will prosper you, but in the right way, without burden, without guilt, without pain. And I want to prepare you now, because in the next part I will reveal how this divine force manifests within you, how it appears in your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, and even in opportunities that seem by chance. You will understand why your entire life has brought you to this moment, and how to use this force, starting today, to attract prosperity that doesn't hurt you, doesn't exhaust you, and doesn't take away your peace. The revelation continues in part 3, and it will open something within you that will never return to what it was before. Now that you know the strength described in Deuteronomy 8:18, I want to guide you into something even deeper. How this strength works within you, even when you don't realize it. Many people imagine that it only manifests itself in moments of great spiritual emotion, but in reality, the strength that God gives you operates primarily in the quietest and most ignored place of all, your mind. That's where prosperity begins or ends. That's where your limitations or your possibilities are born. And that's why you needed to come to this video, because your mind is being prepared for a new cycle, even if, until yesterday, you couldn't explain why. This inner strength doesn't appear like thunder, but as a small movement, a desire to try something new, a persistent thought that won't leave you, a courage that visits you for seconds and then disappears. But, in those seconds, a door has already opened. The strength that God gives doesn't push. It calls. It whispers, "Go. I am with you." But often you've confused this call with anxiety, restlessness, fear of the unknown, when, in fact, it was God preparing you to access what is already reserved in the spiritual world. And there's something even more curious. This strength usually appears at the exact moment you think you've reached your limit. It's when you say, "I can't take it anymore," that the Spirit whispers within you, "Endure it, because now it begins." It seems contradictory, but almost all the great advances in the Bible happen during moments of greatest human exhaustion. Moses tired, Elijah exhausted, Abraham confused, David fleeing. It's as if God waits for you to crumble in what is false, to build something true within you. And this process is happening at this very moment. There is also a characteristic of this divine force that almost no one notices. It adjusts your perception. You begin to see what was previously invisible. You begin to notice opportunities that were always there, but your emotional wounds prevented you from seeing them. It's as if God cleans the window of your inner vision. Ideas begin to flow. Connections begin to emerge. Intuition becomes sharper. What previously blocked you loses its power. This change doesn't happen all at once, but in waves. And each wave takes you closer to the prosperity He has already prepared. And when that force activates, something extraordinary happens. You begin to challenge old patterns. Old beliefs about money is hard to come by. It will never be enough. Prosperity isn't for me. Begin to lose the power they had over you. And I know you might think those phrases were just thoughts, but they weren't. They were spiritual chains. Shackles built over years of fear, shame, guilt, or painful experiences. Now, with this divine force moving within you, each of those chains begins to loosen. But there's an important part to this process, a part that can determine everything that comes next. You need to learn to recognize this force spiritually, because if you don't recognize it, it goes unnoticed. If it goes unnoticed, you don't follow it. And if you don't follow it, the door that was open closes. Biblical prosperity demands sensitivity. It demands attention. It demands awareness. God has been whispering things into you for a long time. But perhaps you called what was divine care a coincidence. Perhaps you called what was guidance a loose idea. Today I want to teach you to discern all of this. Now that you understand how divine power works within you, I want to reveal something that few people realize. There are clear spiritual signs that show when God is about to change your financial life. These signs appear before the door opens, before the opportunity arises, before the answer arrives. And if you learn to recognize them, you will never again confuse a transition cycle with a cycle of defeat. In fact, many moments you called failures were actually warnings from heaven that a new level was coming. And today, I want to open your eyes to this. The first sign is inner unease. It's not anxiety. It's not haste. It's a discomfort that makes you realize you can no longer remain where you are. It's as if your soul is growing faster than your external reality. You begin to feel that something is tight, small, incompatible with who you are becoming. Often you try to ignore this feeling, but it returns every day, like a whisper saying, "You were born for more." This unease is not failure. It is God expelling you from stagnation. The second sign is the collapse of what no longer sustains your journey. Projects that don't work, relationships that fall apart, paths that close, plans that once seemed promising but suddenly become confusing. The human mind calls this loss, but spiritual language calls it pruning to bear fruit. Jesus taught this. The Father cuts away what no longer produces, not as punishment, but for protection. When God closes doors, it's because they couldn't lead you to the future He has planned for you. The third sign is the repetition of unexpected thoughts, ideas that arise without warning, desires that appear without explanation, callings you never imagined feeling. Suddenly, you find yourself thinking about changing fields, studying something new, starting a business, reorganizing your finances, creating a plan, giving up an old habit. These thoughts don't come from nowhere. They are spiritual seeds falling on the ground of your mind. When they start to become repetitive, it's because God is strategically trying to prepare you for the next level. The fourth sign is the arrival of specific people at the exact moment. A conversation, a piece of advice, a new friendship. Someone who crosses your path in such an unlikely way that it seems like a coincidence, but it isn't. God always uses people as bridges. Before changing your financial reality, He sends someone who opens your eyes, strengthens your faith, illuminates your choices, or connects you with a new direction. And notice, these people arrive with peace, not confusion. They seem small at first, but then you realize they were divine instruments. The fifth sign is increased spiritual sensitivity. You begin to hear biblical words more deeply. You start to feel that a message was for you. You realize that certain verses touch you differently. You feel your heart warm during a simple prayer. Small signs, but powerful. It is God fine-tuning your perception so that you can understand and sustain what He is about to give you. When this happens, you are not becoming emotional. You are becoming aligned. Now I want you to do something for yourself. Just for yourself. Find a comfortable position. Release the tension in your shoulders. Place your feet on the ground and breathe deeply, as if receiving a hug from heaven. This is a sacred moment. It is an encounter between your mind and the divine force that dwells within you. As my voice accompanies you, allow yourself to feel that nothing is pressuring you now. Nothing is demanding anything from you. The world can wait. This is the moment where your financial mindset begins to change profoundly, gently, and irreversibly. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and imagine a soft light descending upon you. A warm, golden light representing God's presence, illuminating every area of your life related to money. Feel this light entering your thoughts, clearing painful memories, dissolving old beliefs, releasing the weight you've carried for years. This light tells you, you were not born to be at war with money. You were born to manage it peacefully. Allow this truth to sink in as we continue. Now, while keeping your breathing light, mentally or quietly repeat each phrase I say. Repeat slowly, as if planting seeds within your own soul. I deserve to prosper. I receive the strength that God gave me to acquire wealth. I release the fear of lack. I choose thoughts that bring me closer to abundance. I allow opportunities to come to me easily. I renounce the scarcity mindset. I accept the divine flow of prosperity. I say, repeat slowly, as if planting seeds within your own soul. I deserve to prosper. I receive the strength that God gave me to acquire wealth. I release the fear of lack. I choose thoughts that bring me closer to abundance. I allow opportunities to come to me easily. I renounce the scarcity mindset. I accept the divine flow of prosperity. Keep breathing. Feel the energy of these words vibrating in your chest. Now repeat them once more, with more intention, as if you were signing a new spiritual contract with your own life. I am capable of creating new possibilities. Money is a resource that serves me, not an enemy. I trust in the God who gives me strength. I attract prosperous ideas and creative solutions. I open myself up to unexpected and honest gains. I walk with wisdom. I am at peace with my finances. I am capable of creating new possibilities. Money is a resource that serves me, not an enemy. I trust in the God who gives me strength. I attract prosperous ideas and creative solutions. I open myself up to unexpected and honest gains. I walk with wisdom. I am at peace with my finances. Now imagine, for a few seconds, that all bills paid, all fears dissolved, all paths open before you like a clear horizon. Imagine yourself walking freely, holding not just money, but serenity. This is where a prosperous mind takes you. It's not a fictional place. It's a spiritual place that already exists, and you are entering it now. Feel the confidence rising. Feel the hope returning. Feel your financial energy being silently restored. Take one more deep breath. Now place your hands on your chest, as if holding your own heart, and repeat after me one last time. I choose to thrive in peace. I choose to thrive with purpose. I choose to prosper with God. I choose to thrive in peace. I choose to thrive with purpose. I choose to prosper with God. Feel this commitment becoming a part of you. This moment is a spiritual milestone. Something has changed within you, and you already perceive it. When you open your eyes, you will no longer be the same person who began this practice. You will be someone with a mind reprogrammed for prosperity. And if you want to continue this transformation daily, with depth, direction, and consistency, I've prepared something that will accompany you like a spiritual guide. Reprogram a Mind. 7 days of powerful audios to reprogram your financial mindset and align you with the flow of divine abundance. These audios work precisely on that inner strength we talked about today. The link is in the first pinned comment. Now keep your heart open, because in part 6, we'll talk about something even stronger. The spiritual law that amplifies everything you've just activated. Now that you have opened up space within yourself for divine force to operate, I want to guide you to a spiritual principle that functions like an invisible gear of prosperity. The law of multiplied return. This law does not depend on banks, government, salary, or circumstances. It depends only on one thing: the spiritual energy you release into the world. The Bible calls this sowing. Neuroscience calls it resonance. And life in its silence confirms. Everything you emit returns to you. But it returns amplified, strengthened, multiplied. There's a profound detail about this law. It begins within, not without. People think it's only related to donations, generosity, and external actions. But it's not. The first seed you plant isn't in your hands. It's in your thoughts. Every time you choose to believe in abundance, you release a vibration that attracts opportunities compatible with that state. Every time you think it won't work, you close doors. Thoughts are seeds. Words are seeds. Attitudes are seeds. And each one of them builds your tomorrow. The Bible confirms this when it says in Proverbs 23:7, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." This isn't poetry. It's spiritual structure. When you think like someone poor, your life is shaped by scarcity. When you think like someone prosperous, your reality begins to align with paths of growth. not because you are special or because you deserve more than others, but because God has placed within you the capacity to co-create your own life with Him. What you think governs what you live. But here comes the great revelation. This law doesn't only work when you plant, it works even more strongly when you let go. When you stop trying to control everything, to hold on to everything, to force results. Generosity isn't just about giving money. It's about releasing resentment, releasing fear, releasing pride, releasing control. The heart that lets go is the heart that receives. The Bible says, "A generous soul will prosper." And it prospers because it's not bound by the rigidity of survival, but by the fluidity of trust. There's a profound story that illustrates this. A woman had 2 coins, only 2. Humanly, that was nothing. But spiritually, it was everything. By offering the little she had, she wasn't losing. She was letting go of fear. And every time someone breaks through fear, heaven responds. Multiplication isn't about value, it's about faith. And this same dynamic applies to your time, your talent, your energy, your plans. When you let go, God moves. When you control, God waits. When you trust, God acts. Have you noticed how many bad things have left your life in the last few months? People who disappeared, paths that closed, opportunities that didn't materialize. This wasn't rejection, it was protection. God was clearing the ground for you to plant new seeds, seeds aligned with your new mindset. What you lost, you didn't lose. It was simply repositioned. And now the ground is ready. The seeds are ready. Your life is entering a new season of growth. Now we arrive at the most important moment of this journey, the instant when you publicly declare, before yourself, before God, and before life, your new financial identity. Everything we have done so far has prepared your heart, your mind, and your spirit for this turning point. And when a change happens inside, it immediately begins to influence the outside. Therefore, take a deep breath and feel. Something within you is lighter, cleaner, clearer. This is the sign that God is moving you into a new cycle, not imagined, but prepared. From now on, you are no longer someone trying to survive. You are no longer someone constantly putting out financial fires. You are no longer someone who thinks prosperity is for others. No. From now on, you rise spiritually as someone who receives divine strength to acquire wealth, someone who walks with wisdom, someone who prospers without fear, someone who builds with peace. The scarcity that once held your mind captive begins to lose its power over you. And the more you hear these words, the more this truth takes root within you. And I want you to repeat, in a low voice, or just in your thoughts, these declarations of identity. They are not empty statements. They are spiritual anchors. I choose to live as a prosperous person. I choose to think like a prosperous person. I choose to act like someone who is prosperous. I choose to trust in God as someone who prospers. I choose to receive aligned opportunities. I choose to break with the old mindset. I choose the abundance that comes from above. Each phrase you just repeated is a seed that will begin to bear fruit in the coming days. And something even more powerful is happening now. Perhaps you don't feel it, but the spiritual world has already registered this change. When you change your inner identity, heaven changes the external paths. The right people begin to cross your path. Ideas begin to emerge. Opportunities begin to appear where before there were closed doors. Biblical prosperity doesn't manifest with noise, it manifests with direction. And you are about to notice this in the details, in the calm that arrives, in the intuition that guides, in the unexpected favor that appears. But I want to ask you now for a small act, and a gigantic one at the same time. Write the word Amen here in the comments. It's not just interaction, It's not just engagement, it's a spiritual act. It's you stamping your new identity. It's you saying to the invisible world, I agree with this word. I receive this change. I embrace this new cycle. There's something inexplicable that happens when you write Amen. Your faith moves from thought to action. And when faith is put into action, it releases movement. And take this moment to subscribe to the channel, if you haven't already. Here, we walk together. Here, you're never alone in the process. Each video is a step, a light, a revelation, an alignment. You have no idea how much this community strengthens you and how much you also strengthen others when you participate. The more you get involved, the more God uses this space to guide and uplift you. Subscribe, activate the bell, and come back whenever you need direction, comfort, or clarity. Now, breathe slowly and allow everything you've experienced within to gently settle in your heart. There are moments in life when the soul knows something has changed, even before the eyes see any external evidence. This is one of those moments. The transformation that began in your mind, the strength that awakened in your spirit, and the peace that settled in your chest are signs that a new cycle has already been activated within you. It's not something that will happen. It's something that has already begun. You are no longer in the same emotional, spiritual, and mental place you were when you pressed play. Now you carry a different clarity, a sharper sense of direction, and a confidence that doesn't just come from you. It comes from God. He brought you here to open an inner door that no one else could open. And when God opens a door within you, no circumstance has the power to close it. Your prosperity begins in the unseen, but soon, very soon, you will see reflections of it in the visible. I want you to treasure this. Every true external change begins with a silent internal change. The strength God gives you to acquire wealth, the mindset you've activated, the financial peace that has begun to emerge, all of this will continue to grow day by day. Even if you don't realize it, your life is already being realigned. Paths will be adjusted. People will be sent. Opportunities will arise. Nothing you've experienced so far has been wasted. Everything has brought you to this very moment. And if at any point in the coming days you feel a slight discomfort, an intuition, a sudden clarity, or a feeling of, I need to do something different, know that this is a continuation of the process that began here. Don't ignore it. It is God guiding your steps with love, strategy, and precision. He doesn't lead you down random paths. He leads you down paths aligned with the purpose He Himself placed within you. And you are now entering a time of firm and blessed building. I want to thank you deeply for walking this path with me. Every second you've spent watching this video, every word you've received, every emotion that has touched your heart, all of this is part of your transformative journey. You are too precious to walk alone, and I am honored to have walked with you in this process. The abundance you activate today doesn't just bless your life. It blesses your family, your relationships, your projects, everything you touch. And remember, the journey doesn't end here. Prosperity is not a destination. It's a daily construction. Come back whenever you need to strengthen your mind, your faith, and your vision. Watch again when you feel your financial energy has weakened. Share with someone who needs hope. This channel is a safe haven for your soul, a place where you will always find wisdom, calm, and direction. Here, you will never be alone. With all my affection, with all my love, and with all the light that God has placed in my words for you, I say, see you in the next video. Infinite gratitude.